For decades, Hollywood told us the same story: the older man, the younger woman. From James Bond's endless conquests to leading men twice the age of their love interests, that was the rule. But over time, a quiet rebellion began. Suddenly, women weren't just the object of affection, they were the ones choosing desire. This is the untold story of how older woman, younger man relationships became one of Hollywood's most controversial, powerful, and thought-provoking cinematic revolutions. It all began in 1967, when The Graduate hit theaters. Dustin Hoffman's awkward Benjamin Braddock and Anne Bancroft's seductive Mrs. Robinson created a cultural earthquake. The phrase Mrs. Robinson became shorthand for temptation itself. But the film wasn't really about sex. It was about power. Mrs. Robinson wasn't a predator. She was a bored, intelligent woman trapped in a life that had grown too small for her. The affair was her rebellion against invisibility, something countless women of the era could relate to. The Graduate forced audiences to ask uncomfortable questions. Why was it shocking to see a woman over 40 as the sexual aggressor? Why did her desire feel transgressive when men had done the same on screen for decades without judgment? In many ways, The Graduate opened the door for everything that followed. It didn't just create a trope, it started a cultural conversation about aging, freedom, and the right to want. For years after, Hollywood didn't quite know what to do with this new archetype. Films like Harold and Maude and How Stella Got Her Groove Back tiptoed into the territory, but still treated the relationship as quirky, tragic, or experimental. In Harold and Maude, the love story between a young man and an elderly woman was portrayed as eccentric, even comic. Critics loved it, but it reinforced that such love could never exist in the real world. By the 1990s, age gap romances became punchlines. Cougar jokes filled late-night TV. The older woman was sexy, but dangerous, desirable, but delusional. It was the media's way of neutralizing something that threatened traditional gender norms. But culture was changing faster than Hollywood realized. As women began to dominate the box office and redefine Hollywood power structures, the narrative began to evolve. Movies like Prime, starring Uma Thurman, and The Rebound with Catherine Zeta-Jones showed women who weren't ashamed of dating younger men. They were exploring, choosing, living. Then came The Reader, 2008, with Kate Winslet delivering one of the most complex performances of her career. Her affair with a teenage boy was not glamorized. It was deeply uncomfortable, layered with guilt and shame. But it forced audiences to confront something real. Desire is rarely simple or socially acceptable. Around this time, celebrity culture began to mirror the screen. Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher's real-life marriage became tabloid fuel. Madonna's younger partners dominated headlines. For the first time, the older woman, younger man dynamic wasn't just fiction, it was Hollywood itself living the storyline. The movie isn't about judgment, it's about perception. It asks, how do we interpret love, power, and manipulation through the lens of gender and age? The reason May December hit so hard is because it reflected the complexity of our times. Today, audiences don't want simple heroes or villains. They want the truth, messy, gray, and deeply human. Age gap romances on screen are no longer about shock value. They're about rewriting power. When a man dates a younger woman, we call it normal. When she does, we call it scandalous. The double standard still lingers, but films are slowly dismantling it. These stories challenge one of Hollywood's most toxic messages, that women expire after a certain age. By showing older women as desirable, flawed, and emotionally complex, cinema reclaims what society tried to erase: the right to be visible, wanted, and in control. And the younger men in these stories aren't victims or trophies. Often they represent curiosity, openness, or the willingness to see beyond convention. Together, they create stories that defy time itself. As Gen Z reshapes pop culture, the stigma continues to fade. Series like Cougar Town, The Idol, and even romantic dramas on streaming platforms now explore older woman, younger man relationships without judgment, sometimes even as aspirational. But the evolution isn't just about gender, it's about authenticity. It's about showing that attraction doesn't have to fit a formula, that connection can transcend age. From Mrs. Robinson to May December, from taboo to timeless, Hollywood's portrayal of older women, younger men, relationships tells a story much larger than romance. If you love deep dives into the secret history of Hollywood storytelling, subscribe, because this is CB List, where the drama is real, the tea is boiling, and the truth always rolls after the credits.